myself first? Well, self. Hello. We're speaking about you. Your self-worth should not come from others' ways of perceiving you, other people's thoughts, other people's emotions, other people's opinions. It should not. You should not be in a position of making your decisions due to what someone else, anyone else's advice is towards you. For example, let's say if me and you are having a conversation, right? And you say, I got a question and I want your opinion on it. And let's say if I give you an opinion and my opinion is connected to my emotion, you may have to pay attention to that. Because when people give you their opinions and it involves their emotions in it, I wouldn't listen. You can talk about it, because speaking to others and being social, there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to your self-worth, you need to understand that you are the master of who you are. And if you're allowing everyone's opinion to control how you step up in life, you're not involving yourself 100%. You're not satisfying what is called self-worth. You're not adding to that. You're not accumulating your rightful abilities, your rightful, ways of thinking and being free. Like, you are utilizing the opinions of others to create who you think you should be. Now, listening to people and their advices, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to say it again. Being sociable, there's nothing wrong with that. On the contrary, you want to be. That's why they say it takes a tribe. Yeah, that is very important. It does take a tribe. However, when it comes to you making decisions, matter of self, when it comes to you leveling up, when it comes to you being your true self, it doesn't come from the opinions of others. It doesn't come from the validation of others. It's called self-worth for a reason, because it's what you value of yourself. Somebody had asked me the other day my opinion about that. And I kicked back the question back to them. I was like, well, forget about what I feel about you. How do you feel about yourself? And it made them stop for a second and think, because they probably never had anybody ask them that or reverse the question. And yes, I gave a question on top of a question, but I just wanted for that person to think, like, really think about what is it that you're asking, because technically that is not a question that you should be asking anyone, in my opinion. That's a question that you should be asking yourself. How much do I love myself? How much do I value myself? How much things do I do to take care of myself, love myself? What are my opinions of myself? How do I view myself? There was this exercise that I used to do, and it was visualize yourself from the outside. Like, be someone else looking at yourself. How do you view yourself? And of course, a lot of people's, how would you say, self-confidence is very high. So they're always going to compliment themselves. You understand? Which is great. However, it's not only about what you look on the outside. It also has to do with the way you are as an individual inside as well. Can you really sit back and visualize your dark moments, those moments when life isn't treating you well? Like, how are you perceiving it? How are you reacting to it, you would say? If somebody was nasty to you, How are you reacting to that? What are the thoughts that are coming through your mind? Like, that is the visualization that you need to really tune into, because anybody can put on some nice threads and look good. However, will that person's personality shine? Will that person's emotions be intact? When that person is alone, are they doing what's best even when no one's looking? Like, that type of stuff. And it's really not something that you only teach kids. This is also something that adults should also take on. You understand? That's how you build trust for yourself. That's how you become more valuable. Because remember, it doesn't matter the opinion of others. What you and your higher self and your higher power, whether that be God for you, Jesus, a prophet, Gaia, universe, soul, spirit, however you call it, the point is that whoever that higher power is, when you are with yourself, it's you in that space, you in that spirit, you in that moment. It's not about anyone else. And if you were to sit back and really view yourself, are you a trustworthy person, a loyal person, an honest person? Are you a kind person? Are you kind to yourself? Do you love yourself? You understand? Like, it's though it goes deep. It really, really does go deep, because the aesthetics, you can forget about it. Anybody can look good on the outside, but what are you doing inside when you are alone? That is your self-worth. And a lot of people's self-worth are not really up to par, because they know themselves when they're alone. They know that if somebody was supposed to approach them with an attitude, they would clap back, snap back. Because truly, not all things in your life should be fought. Like, not every battle needs to be fought. Some battles you need to learn how to walk away. It's really not worth your time. That's why. You're lowering your level. You're stooping to the level of that person, that situation that is trying its best to take you out. And they're winning. And it's winning. The spirit of taking out a person who is living their best self is winning. Are you going to allow it, is the question. You understand? Be your true self. Be your best self. Be your best friend. Learn how to listen to your spirit. Learn how to listen to your soul. Your soul is your best friend. When you learn how to be one with yourself, when you learn how to make the best decisions with yourself, trust and believe, when you come with around other people who are like-minded, it's a blessing. Because a real true person who understands spirit can detect. They can detect. You don't need to be around them that long for them to even understand. If you, what we call it today, NPC. That's crazy how we got labels now. But, you know, if you're an NPC, somebody can tell. Somebody that's true in their spirit. Somebody that's true in their highest frequency, which is called love. Yep. Somebody can detect that quick. You know? So, self-worth is definitely imperatively important, and it's an investment that you should definitely look into on a daily basis. It's okay for you to start now, and it doesn't matter what age you are. Nobody is perfect. Just give yourself that grace. Give yourself that time. Sometimes it's okay for you to be quiet and just pay attention to how you would have reacted. Pay attention to when you are about to have a flare up. Pay attention to how your you're perceiving other people's opinions about you. Like the other day, somebody tried to give me a compliment, but also tried to knock me down at the same time. Like, you ever had that before? I mean, truly, thank God I don't really care for their opinion, but they tried, right? And how they did it was, they said, they tried to give me a compliment and tried to say that I was one of the best. And then they put me on a scale and they gave me a number. And I was just like, okay, so then who's the best? And they basically put themselves above me and didn't want to name who the best person was. I walked away and was like, well, truly in my mind, I was like, thank God I don't really care for your opinion, because I know who I am. I know how I show up in my life. But it was nice. Thank you for the compliment. And I let it go. You understand? Truly, a lot of people who are bitter secretly, they will try to test you to see what your reactions are going to be. And technically, when you have self-worth, nobody's opinion really counts. It doesn't make you, and it definitely doesn't break you. And that's the vibe that you need to be on. That's the confidence that you need to be on. You know yourself. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And you move like you are the chosen one at all times. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there. Always practice self-love, self first, at all times. Ciao.